So I personally started house sitting in Europe in June of last year. So I moved out of my place. I was completely broke. I'm usually very, very like open about all these things. I had just gone through a horrible situation and I lost all of my money. And I needed a way out. And I'd known about house sitting for a really long time. And I was like, you know what, maybe it's time for me to start trying this out. And I started in June of last year in Germany. And then I started doing it in a bunch of other countries in Europe. And then I came here to the States, and it's unbelievable.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Get Out of Your Comfort Zone podcast series. I am your host, Farhan Bande Ali, and I am an immigrant and a digital nomad. The objective of this podcast is to share stories from my life and those who I encounter in my travels. We hope to inspire you, our wonderful audience, with ideas to get out of your comfort zone. I strongly believe that growth, success, and wisdom comes when we step out of our comfort zone. In today's episode, we will be speaking with Cebu about an alternative lifestyle, specifically house sitting as a way to travel and have experiences that are truly unique. I hope this episode helps to break the template of the mundane, the predictable, and truly enrich your life. Cheers!
My name is Cebu. I'm an avid traveler. I have been traveling since I was a baby, really. I was about 6 months old the first time I moved. So that was always like ingrained in me. But once I turned 17, I started living on my own in China, which was huge. And I didn't really have a lot of money, to be honest. And I was desperate to travel, and I just had to be really smart about the way that I was doing things. And so I started looking for alternative ways to travel. And that was almost 16 years ago, and I've done so many things along the years. Like, if you've asked me, chances are I've done it, right? And I love that. And so house sitting is something new for me. I've known about it for years, but I didn't really start doing it until last year. And so what house sitting really is, or what it really entails, is just taking care of other people's homes while they're gone. I guess that's like a really easy way to summarize it. So I've done a little bit of everything. Like, I've taken care of kids, I've volunteered in like different countries around the world, I've taught English, like you name it, chances are I've done it. But this, by far, it is one of my favorite ways to travel. I am completely obsessed, and I think you are too. And I can't wait to keep doing this. And it is unbelievable to just like, I'm obsessed with the app. I look at the app all the time, and I'm just like, okay, like, where do I go now? You know what I mean? But yeah, there are different platforms out there. So Mind My House, Holiday Swap, there are a couple of different ones, and a lot of them are a lot more affordable than this one, to be honest. But this one, I think, is by far the best. I've tried a few of the other ones, and this is the one that offers a lot of house sits. So that's me. What about you, Farhan?
So, what about me? Where do we begin? My name is Farhan. My name is Farhan, and I am a third culture kid. Hopefully we'll talk a little bit about that today, which means that though I am ethnically Indian, was born and raised in a completely different culture place, which is the United Arab Emirates, and then came to this wonderful country when I was 14 years old, and have essentially been a nomad, in some way or another, for longer periods of times, but against my will is the most important thing, where I would just have to move, from place to place. And basically before COVID, I was living in Chicago, working as a public health professional. And COVID happened, and I immediately went towards family because, family should be together when shit goes down. And next thing you know, it's 5 months later, and I've essentially moved back in with the family, and I'm like, what the fuck? So anyways, during that time period, as was the case for everybody, a lot of introspection and turning inwards. But then also, it was around that time when I went through Ramadan, and it was like the first time I actually set the intention to do Ramadan the proper way. And so that made me go into myself even more. And that's where I sort of started wondering about this whole like forced nomadic lifestyle that I've had, and came to terms, because all I ever wanted to do was just put roots down, settle down, like be in one place, my forever place, and like make shit happen in that place.
Oh,
And I was
wow.
like, well, what if the universe thinks you'll be happier if you just embraced a nomadic life? And that's where I was like, had this aha moment. And I started traveling around, and staying in different places.
Around the
And
United States, right? Just to make it clear for people to understand. Yeah.
sorry,
Around the United States, right?
around the United States, yeah. And basically, staying in one place for a couple of months. And one of the places that I came to was Austin. And that's where I met Cebu, and that's also where I met Beatrice. Hi, B. I see you.
I saw
I
her
see
too.
you. Yeah. And, when I met Beatrice, I did not know about trusted house sitters. And then when I met Cebu was like, oh, yeah, there's this thing that I do. And I was immediately drawn to it. I was like, this kind of fits in with this nomadic lifestyle that I'm trying to pursue. And with her hand holding and her blessing, I was able to get this show on the road and haven't looked back since.
How long have you been house sitting for?
I would say June.
June, so almost 6 months. And you do this full time, correct?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, yeah. So this is for people, we both work remotely. So for us, we have the choice to either stay in one place, take an apartment and stay in one city the way people normally do, which is completely normal. And since we're working remotely, we could have taken like little 1-2 week trips here and there, but we've decided to completely embrace this nomadic lifestyle. And so we move around a lot, all around the country, going from one house sit to the other. So I personally started house sitting in Europe in June of last year. So I moved out of my place. I was completely broke. I'm usually very, very like open about all these things. I had just gone through a horrible situation and I lost all of my money. And I needed a way out. And I'd known about house sitting for a really long time. And I was like, you know what, maybe it's time for me to start trying this out. And I started in June of last year in Germany. And then I started doing it in a bunch of other countries in Europe. And then I came here to the States, and it's unbelievable. So of course, just like you have stayed with a family here and there, and like sometimes we stay at Airbnbs and hostels, but for the most part, we have been house sitting.
Hmm. And Cebu, one thing I'll say, COVID really did a number on the world, right? In so many ways. And I think, generations after us are going to like talk about this time. And we're so lucky in some regards to have lived through this time that like really changed a lot for the future that's about to come. And I believe in that same vein, because of COVID, we are going to enter what I'm going to call a new age cultural renaissance, right? 700 years forward. And I believe that what we're doing right now, this Trusted House Sitters app, and the way we travel, this is going to be one of the things that really blows up. And this is why we're really excited about it, because more and more people are going to be able to work remotely. And, if you can get out of your comfort zone, right? Like ditch the norms of yesteryear and follow your heart and know that it will work out. We, Cebu and I, are your proof that not only will it work out, but you'll fucking thrive.
You'll love
right?
it. You'll absolutely love it. It's unbelievable. So I think, I mean, especially now because of COVID, I don't know, I think, and we've both spoken about this a lot. The world is changing, and especially for people who have an office job, work from 9 to 5, the world is changing, and I think it's time we actually like start setting boundaries when it comes to like work life balance, you know. And I think that's the beauty of being able to be nomadic, is that we actually do create a little bit more of a balance. But Farhan, I'm not gonna lie, I've told so many people about this website, so many. Like, I mean, you know me, I'm usually very, very
Yeah,
open about the things that I do, but you are
you're like
one
one
of
of the
the
best
very
ads for trusted house sitters. Sorry to interrupt.
No worries. But what I was trying to say is that you have no idea. Like, I tell people, hey, I live everywhere around the world for free, like anywhere I want. And people are like, oh yeah, that's cool. How do you do it? And I give them all of like the tools, everything, the websites. It's all there. I tell them how to apply, how to do it, how to start off. And most people don't go ahead and do it. They just, they just watch from the sidelines. And you're one of the few people that has actually like listened and gone out of their comfort zone and said, you know what, I'm gonna give this a try. And if it doesn't work out, if I hate it, that's it, But it's trying. And that's what I want to encourage more people to do, to just get out of their comfort zones and try things, You never know if it's gonna fail or not unless you actually give it a try. And most importantly, I personally am not the kind of person who's gonna die and say, oh God, what if I done this, or what if I done that? No. Life is too short to be doing things like that. So that's just me. But I wanted to ask you, so did you feel like it was easy to just, start house sitting? Like, how was the process for you first? Because I know about the website for a long time, so.
Yeah, for sure. I would say it was easy in some ways and not easy in others, right? Like I don't blame people for, really being in love with the idea, but not finding that they could do it. Now, here's the thing though. I'll say there's two ways to engage in this app. One is just on the side, right? Like, hey, I'm going to travel to San Francisco because, Cebu and Farhan fucking love this place. And let me try to find a house sit while I'm here, right? And use that as a way to travel. Or I'm going to make this into a lifestyle, right? And travel this way. So I think, definitely for the latter, where you're just trying to do this, there are certain important considerations to take into account. But if you're the former, I believe that the people who've designed the app and the community around it, at least the experience that I have personally had, it's been pretty smooth for the most part, and folks are pretty good. And I think if you consider yourself like an easygoing person who is a relatively good communicator, I think that, it's something that it felt pretty easy if I was just trying to do it once or twice. Like if I already have my place and I already have my life, please try it, I think I'll say the one trade-off is that in return for a place, you do have to like do some chores, right? Like if the people have like a pet or whatever. And so if you're trying to like go somewhere and have like 100% of your time devoted to just like sightseeing, then, that's something you have to consider, because there'll be, I don't know, I haven't done the math yet, but like limited amount of responsibilities, which vary from house sit to house sit, right? And like, if you have, dogs, for example, you can't just be gone for 13 hours at a time. You do have to plan your day accordingly.
Yes, especially if there's dogs involved. So for those of you who don't know, why do people? So house sitting, like I said before, literally means people going away and leaving their house behind, and you take care of it. And why do people do this? So a lot of the times there will be pets involved. You have a cat, you want to travel, you don't have anybody to take care of it. You sign up for this platform, and someone will come to your house and take care of this pet for you, right? And people who sign up for this platform, there's background checks, they'll check our IDs. Reviews are super important, obviously. Like, you don't want to just have someone stay in your home if they don't have reviews. You know what I mean? Like, some sort of trust system here. But most importantly, a lot of the times, if you were to leave your home, let's say for a couple of weeks, and you hire a security company to look after your home, that's incredibly expensive. And you don't even know if the security company is going to be doing a good job. So what do? You get a house sitter. They stay in your home. All you have to do is cover electricity, water bills, the typical bills that you normally cover. And you know that you have someone staying and sleeping in your home every single night. And so that's why a lot of people use these platforms. So yes, a lot of them, I would say about 90% of them, yes, involve pets, cats and dogs for the most part. But I did a house sit one where all they wanted me to do was check their mail. Literally stay at home and make sure that there was someone there to check the mail, and I had to scan the letters and send them to her. That was it, So it's important to know what kind of responsibilities you want. If you're a dog person and you have no problem staying at home and sticking around every 6 hours to take out the dog, that's fine. Personally, I'm more of a dog person, but lately I've been doing more cat house sits because I want to have a little bit more freedom. So I know that I just feed the cat, spend a little bit of time with it, and just go out and do my thing. But before we go on, because I know you wanted to speak, we've gone to the extremes of actually making this our lifestyle, and I know that a lot of people are not ready for that. So if you wanted to find accommodation for a couple of days in a city that you really want to visit or a country that you really want to visit, you can just go ahead and start applying for house sits there, and you just go for a couple of days and stay there, and that's it. You don't have to make this your lifestyle, but doing it for a few days is a really good way to start.
Yeah. And I see that my friend Beanish just joined. Hi, Beanish. This one's for you, honey. So like this app and house sitting isn't just for people like you and I who are like, looking for house sits, right? So like Beanish has, 4 cats, right? And 4 beautiful cats, right? And basically Beanish has this desire to travel, and as a homeowner and someone with pets, it can get quite expensive to, like Sibu said, hire a security company or like have all of your pets be boarded, right? Like the pet boarding industry is a multi-billion-dollar industry, or hiring a house sitter, right, to come to your house and do this. And part of why, I mentioned earlier about the new age cultural renaissance is that this app completely disrupts this whole trend where you've taken money out of the equation. Beanish no longer has to pay anything, right, except for the subscription to the app, to have someone like me who is vetted, right? Like I went through background check, someone who has references, right? I have, 10 references on my profile, somebody who has experience with animals, and somebody who's a professional, right? Like I have my LinkedIn profile where you can see that like I make money of my own and like I can afford to live my own lifestyle. So somebody who's responsible, who's willing to treat your home like it is theirs, right? And to make themselves at home in your home, right? So to treat your family, your non-human family, like it's their family. Because I truly feel like trusted house sitters, it tends to attract, people who are animal lovers, because you have to be one in order to agree to take care of like dogs and cats and stuff like that. And I think this app does a pretty good job of like filtering for that kind. And so, yeah, it's also for homeowners or people with pets who want to travel but have this limitation. Like Beanish maybe, or somebody else can't afford to travel for 3 months at a time, even though she has a remote job. And so here comes trusted house sitters.
I think another important thing to add is that if you have your animals boarded or if you have someone pet sitting for you, you're never going to have the same kind of care and attention in comparison to having someone actually live in your home. Because even if they're not with your pets 24/7, they will be spending time at home, whether it's cooking or just simply sleeping,
Mm-hmm.
It's not this like one-off service where someone will come in and take your dog out for a walk twice a day. No, you're actually going to have someone take proper attention and proper care of your pet. But something that I like to add is that, I don't know about you, but I'm in touch a lot with the owners whenever they're gone. I text them maybe once every 2 days or once every day, depending on their preference. And I'm like, hey, here's a picture of your dog. We're doing fine. I just check in and you know that everything's fine. And so the amount of care that goes into this is beyond from anything that you would expect from any other paid platform or company, just like you said.
Yeah, and you know what, Cebu, I just got a wonderful idea,
Tell me.
right here, right now. And I want to say, Beatrice, if you're still on, this was inspired by you, honey. So Beatrice, you kind of put in the comment saying that, you're intrigued, you'd want to do it. But if you decide you want to do it, you have to pay to get the subscription and actually find a match and a house sit and set up your references and profiles. And you might not want to do all of that if you don't know if this is something that you'll truly enjoy. So if you're on, on today's IG Live, right, and this is something you're intrigued by, I want to volunteer to say, if you and I, Beatrice, you and I already know each other, so I know we'll get along well. But if you feel intimidated, the Trusted House Sitters does have a feature where you can do a house sit with someone, right? So Beatrice, we could coordinate our schedules where I just say, when I apply for a next house sit where the timings work for us, to say, hey, my friend Beatrice will be joining me, right? And then that way we could do it together, me as the relative pro and you as the novice, and you get a first-hand experience at what this feels like, right? So yeah, just something to consider for those of y'all on the IG Live today. Even if you don't know me, let's chat, a few times, and if we have good chemistry, I don't give a fuck. I'll do a house sit with you. We're adults. Let's do this.
Something to really add that I wanted to add is that actually just because I'm house sitting on my own, that doesn't mean that I cannot house sit with other people. This summer, I was traveling all around the States with my friend Ben. He was house sitting with me because I was the one with the profile and I just added him on. If you have a family, you can actually travel with your family. So there's a filter that's called family friendly homes, and you can choose. So houses or owners that are okay with having children in their homes will actually filter or check the family-friendly option. And you can house sit with your family, so you just add their names and their ages, and you apply, and all of you apply, and you can get a house sit somewhere. So, for example, today's Sunday. On Tuesday, I'm going to New York. I got this amazing house sit in Manhattan. I'm going on my own. It's Thanksgiving. It's one of the busiest seasons, if not the busiest time of the year. And I'm going to go to New York for a week, and I'm not paying anything. All I did was pay the subscription, the yearly subscription, and that's it. And if I would have wanted to apply with a friend or even with a family, that's an option. So think about this as a way for you to have your next getaway. Yes, also with your mom. You can do it with anybody. You can do it with a friend. You can do it with a partner. You can do it with your child. You can do it with whomever you want, and it's pretty incredible. So for example, there's tons of house sits during Christmas and New Year's, because people obviously want to travel to see their families. And so if you're looking for your next holiday, please, Christmas and New Year's are amazing times to house sit because people are desperate, and I'm completely desperate to have someone stay at home and take care of their pets or their homes.
Yeah. And Thankfully, I've reached a point with, my profile and presence on Trusted House Sitters. And I'm sure you're there too, obviously, Sibu, because you've been at it for longer than I have, is people will reach out to me without me having to apply and say, hey, please come house sit for us.
Yeah.
You know, I've yet to find somebody who'll say, yes, and I will pay for you to fly to my city. That will be the day. That will be the day, Sibu. And you know what? I'm just putting this into the universe right now. That will happen. One day somebody will reach out and it will be somewhere out there and they'll be like, come house sit for me. And I'll be like, are you covering the airline ticket? And they'll say, sure.
I think about 3 weeks ago, someone reached out to me and they were like, oh, can you come house sit for me in a couple of days? They were in Chicago. And I was like, I'm not even registered in Chicago. I don't even know how she found me. I don't know if she was assuming I was going to go there or what, but hey, she would have paid for the ticket. Why not? And I mean, the more reviews we have. So at the beginning, it's very hard to get house sits, obviously, because you don't have any reviews. So
yeah, you don't have a presence.
You have no presence, exactly. So kind of like an Airbnb. When you go to Airbnb, if you see an Airbnb with no reviews, are you going to stay there or not? You could risk to stay there, but you don't really know what you're going to expect. Same thing with house sitting. So if you as a house sitter have no reviews, at the beginning, and this is exactly what I told Farhan, don't be picky with locations. Pick shorter house sits and maybe even pick them somewhere in your city or somewhere close to your city. If you find a house sit, if I'm in Chicago and I find a house sit in Chicago, for the weekend, it's only like 1 or 2 nights. Apply for that house sit, even if you're within the same city. See it as a vacation where you can just go and stay in a nice apartment over the weekend, even in your own city. And that way you can actually even tell the owner, like, hey, we're in the same city. Would you like to meet up for a coffee? Do you want to meet out for a walk? We can take your pet out for a walk. Do you want to see me in person? How can you establish that trust right at the beginning? So I would say the first 2 or 3 reviews are the hardest ones. Because again, you need to build that trust. You need to have reviews. But once you've got 2 or 3 reviews, you're good to go. I mean, I see you and you started in June and look at you now. Like how many, so between house sits, how big are the gaps? From one house to the next, what do you say?
Well, I've taken my own vacations in between, but I would say so far 2 to 3, like I would say 2 to 3 days max. I've consistently been able to find.
That is incredible. I don't think people can really understand like the magnitude of this. That means that you, since June, have been house sitting practically nonstop. Yeah. And you only have like a 2-3 day gap in between house sits because that's how much demand there is. It's absolutely incredible. I mean,
keep in mind, I've also gone to places that have been high demand locations for house sitting, right? So like, this is another thing, right? Like if you want to try to like travel, you're better off. So like Austin's a very good area for house sits. There's a lot. So like Beatrice, like if you wanted to say travel more and like build up your profile, I know you spent some time in the Austin area. You could sort of seek out house sits there and build up your repertoire, right? But then places that I was, so Colorado, the Denver area has a ton of house sits, especially now, like in the winter, a lot of older people, they escape the winter, right? But if you're into skiing, Colorado on Trusted House Sitters is amazing right now. You'll get so many house sits. Bay Area, the same. Pacific Northwest, the same. All these like snowbirds and like, older people who have like a second property, they want to get the fuck out of the Pacific Northwest and go down to Mexico. And they need somebody to like take care of their, familia who's like not human. And it's a great place to be. Same with LA. They're like bigger cities tend to be good hubs for house sitting. And then obviously, far out places where it snows a lot, like places all over Pennsylvania. I saw quite a few in like Minnesota, Missouri. But yeah, And you can find like longer ones, like a month,
Yeah.
a few months.
The longest one I've ever seen was like 3-4 months, which is insane. Something that I really that I wanted to point out is that even though we're in the middle of a pandemic and a lot of people still refuse to travel, I've known about this platform for years, so I saw how many housesits there were around the world before the pandemic started. It was absolutely insane all over the world. It's pretty calm right now, and I would say North America and Europe are the places where you're most likely to be able to house sit at the moment because of the restrictions going on. But this is something that I really wanted to highlight, that this is something that you can do everywhere in the world. So US, very active right now. Canada, here and there, but like I said, US is huge. Europe, really, really, really big, especially in the UK, because this is actually a British platform originally. So, for example, if you're in the UK or you wanted to go to the UK, so many houses there.
Oh my God, it's insane.
And Germany was also pretty popular with house-sits too. I was house-sitting there for quite a bit. I started out in Berlin, Germany. That's where I had my first house-sit. Actually, no, I had it in southern Germany. Never mind, but it was within the same country. And I just took a train down to meet up with them, and that was that. Sometimes I do not meet them, obviously. Like that house-sit, I just had like a quick video call with them. So make sure that you let people know that you're more than willing to jump on a call, on a video call, Zoom, Skype, whatever it takes to make sure that they can trust you and they can get to know what kind of person you are, especially at the beginning when it's so hard to get house sits. I wouldn't say so hard, because you got like Farhan, it's all about giving the impression that you are a responsible human being who will take care of their pets and their homes, because you started out in June and like you were getting house sits right away. I was impressed by how quickly you were doing it. So.
Yeah, I'll tell you. So this is actually a good question. The story of our first house sit, how we got it, and like, how the fuck our amazing journey started, right? Is that cool? I'll go first and then you can
go for it.
Go. Okay. So I was in Austin. Cebu had just, anointed me with her magic of trusted house sitters.
I'm a blessing in disguise. So.
You truly are. You truly are. And I had this passion. Like this passion of just, following in Cebu's footsteps. And I understood that, like, one of the first things is I am selling myself, my abilities, my sense of responsibility to the homeowner. Like, that's part of the strategy. I need to establish trust. I need to explain to them that, I'm smart enough to, like, look after their place, that I won't burn it down, right?
Yeah, true.
And that, I'm gonna love their pet, in this case, puppy. My first house sit was taking care of a puppy.
Damn.
The way, well, he was like a 1-year-old, so whatever your definition of puppy is. The way that, they would, right? And so I reached out, and I'm forgetting her name right now. I reached out to them. They were in Austin, and I basically, played myself up, talked about, my career, to convey that, I'm a responsible person, to talk about, so with trusted house sitters, even before you have any reviews, you can have like people vouch for you. So I was lucky. I like had my a landlord write me a reference. Cebu wrote me a reference. And then one of my other friends wrote me a reference of like my abilities with animals and just like my, ability to be responsible. And I reached out to this individual and, based on Cebu's advice, offered to like meet up, offered to answer any questions, and that's what happened. She suggested, hey, let's meet up in person because, the puppy does get intimidated by men sometimes.
Oh, I didn't know that. You
And
never told me that.
yeah. So let's do like a dry run to see how the puppy reacts to you and like the chemistry that we have together. And the meeting went well, and she was like, yeah, that's your opportunity to show them that you're not somebody with zero animal experience, right? Like, if you don't have any animal experience, this isn't the right app for you. But if you own a pet or you like animals and you have experience with animals, then this is the house sit for you, and it worked out for me, right? And I didn't look back since then. Yeah, haven't looked back since then. What about you, Sibu?
So yeah, something that I really want. So I remember telling you that it was really important for you to fill out your profile as best as possible. If
Yes.
you have writing prompts, fill them out. Come on, it's just a little bit of effort, and you only have to fill it out once. If you don't have anything filled out, it's like a fucking Tinder profile. You know what I mean? Like, if you don't write shit, why would I swipe right on you? It's exactly the same thing, honestly, people. So fill it out, and then even if you don't have pets, show like your life. Like, I don't have any pets at the moment, but I have so many pictures with pets that I had in the past.
Mm-hmm.
I love stray animals, so stray animals that I picked up from the street, and like I'm snuggling with them and whatnot, and people think it's disgusting. Like, I put all of that up because I wanted to show what kind of person I was specifically with pets. If I don't like cats, why am I gonna go ahead and apply for a cat that has a cat? Apply for a place that has a cat. You know what I mean? So don't lie, and most importantly, if you think this is something that you might not be able to do on your own, go ahead and do it with someone else, or ask a friend to see if you can do it over the weekend, or just do whatever it is you're going to feel comfortable with. And this is something that I've said before. Most chances are you're going to get a review. So I personally will never accept a house sit unless I know I'm going to get a 5-star review. So if you feel like the house sit is too difficult, or there are too many tasks or responsibilities, and you're not going to be able to fulfill them, don't apply. If you're not going to get a 5-star house sit, don't apply. Just don't waste your time, because that's going to pretty much tarnish your profile, and it's going to make it a lot harder for you to apply in the future. So coming back to my first house sit, my first house sit was insane. So we just had a quick video call. She was like, hey, you look trustworthy, whatever. I took a train all the way down from Berlin to southern Germany, close to the border with Austria. She picked me up from the train station. It was like a little, beautiful little cottage overlooking the lake and stuff. So, and I was writing my master's thesis back then. So I was like, okay, I just need Wi-Fi, my laptop, and I'm going to go on a little writing retreat. I'm going to be completely isolated. I really was for about 3 weeks. I didn't have anybody around me. And it would take me about 45 minutes to walk to the nearest supermarket. So I really was isolated. Farhan, you're not paying attention. No, I'm joking.
I'm listening. I'm just shifty. I'm enjoying my hammock. I'm like, mi hamaka. I'm like twisted and turning. Like, look at how I'm like, look at.
Lucky bastard.
I'm having a good time. Are you in the basement? Are you in the dungeon?
No, I'm not. I'm just in the office, but it's pretty empty.
Okay.
Yeah, it does kind of look like the basement. But anyway, so I get to this house sit, 2 beagles that required a lot of work, couldn't be alone for more than 4 hours at a time, and 2 cats who couldn't be in the same room at the same time. So I had different schedules where I had to open certain doors and close other doors so both cats could roam around the house but not like face each other. And on top of that, I was having both cats drop massive like country village mice in front of my door every fucking night, like huge. So that on top of the beagles and stuff, my first house sit has been by far my most difficult house sit. That was exhausting. It was too much work. I mean, she left me, gave me a 5-star review, but yeah, I've learned my lesson, and now I know that there's certain things I will not be doing, and one of those is I will not be house sitting again for 2 not large dogs, because beagles are not large, but they do require a lot of work. So that was 4 pets in total, and that was me on my own. I'm not doing something like that again.
Yeah, I've done I've done 3, but that was 2 cats and a dog, which is not the same, you know? Actually, the last house that I was on was the one with the 3 animals, and you know, the 2 cats were like housed in like separate rooms, and so they had separate litters, and you know, and then obviously the dog was like very active, but I know that that was my limit. So yeah, I think, you know your limits, especially like if you've never done a house sit before and you're going to a place, you know, like you live in Austin and you want to go to San Francisco and you're only there for a week. You don't want to be spending, you know, as much time taking care of, you want to have a good balance to where you feel like you're able to take full advantage. Now, one thing I will say, right, is as a house sitter, right? So not someone who owns a home, but as a house sitter, earlier in the IG live, we talked about how one of the trade-offs is that, you know, you can't just do your own thing because ultimately you have to look after some aspects of the house and you have to like take care of the pets that come with the house, right? But let me tell you a story about the current house sit that I have. Like the house sit that I'm at right now and the experience that I am having as a visitor to the San Francisco area, no other tourist is getting this experience. So what am I trying to say? What I'm trying to say is if you are the kind of traveler who appreciates experiences that are unique, who doesn't want to do the same old touristy thing, who doesn't want to like eat at the same restaurants and like tag yourself, you know, taking pictures of the same fucking food, right? That like everybody and their mother has already done, right? And you want to have like some like cool ass views that like no other tourist is getting, then this is the fucking app for you, right? Because I'm gonna like post a picture in a few days, you know, and this is just because of this call of like and I showed you that picture, Cebu. Yeah, it was at night. It was at night. It was at night. So no tourists are out and about like that at night in the neighborhood that I am in, right? Not only that, but like there's no parking in that neighborhood at night. So as a tourist, if you have a car or like you wouldn't even know that this place exists. This place isn't even on your radar, right? And like I wouldn't even know had it not been for this fucking house sit, right? And me just being the explorer that I am, right? And like if you crave unique experiences that are fucking stellar, that you can then like have us make a story out of the way I am narrating the story right now, that makes it worth it. That makes it not like, you know, being in a hotel with like a million other tourists or an Airbnb in a touristy area, right? To be able to experience and travel in this way, if that resonates with you.
It does. It really does. Like well, you know, I've been doing this for a while and I'm blown away by most of the places that I stay in. I just sit there and I'm like, oh my God, like there is no way I'd ever be able to have an Airbnb like this, you know, or well, hotels, let's not even talk about it, but like an Airbnb where I'm getting like this beautiful, beautiful home all to myself. And I don't have to think about absolutely anything. Like here's the thing. So people have asked me if I would compare this to Airbnb, and I would say no. Obviously, yes, there's some similar features, but ultimately no, because this is something that is not being used commercially. This is a place where someone actually lives. And so the house is fully equipped in any way that you could possibly think of. And I cook a lot. So something that really bothers me when I go to Airbnbs is that I'll find a pot, a pan, and hopefully salt, pepper, if I'm lucky. And that's it, you know? But if I go to a house sit, like the kitchen is fully equipped and I can use whatever I want. I don't even have to think about buying detergent or toilet paper, or I have nothing to think about. All I have to do is take care of the pet and leave the house the same way it was given to me, you know, and just be respectful of the space. And you know what? So the good thing about signing up with platforms is that you have insurance. I I've broken things. I'm super fucking clumsy. Like last time I was with Ben in Santa Fe, and I broke this massive pot, and it looked so expensive, and I was like, oh my god, and they were really rich, and I was like, how much is this gonna be? And I was like, you know what, obviously I have to be honest. I was like, hey, I took a picture of it. I was like, I'm so sorry I broke this, like, what do I do? And she was like, okay, just leave it on the side, and that's it, really. Yeah, someone is, Beatrice is saying that she sold, something about, so, I actually took a screenshot here. Hold on. So this specific platform that we use, Trusted House Sitters, there's different memberships. I recently upgraded to the highest tier because it provides...
Hey, VIP in the house.
I'm pretty sure that's the one you took, too. So don't give me that bullshit. But the reason I took that was, so the basic one is completely fine. If you have your own travel insurance, then that's fine. But the reason I decided to upgrade was because there's actual cancellation insurance. And so if a house sit, if I'm going to New York next week, if the house owner happens to cancel, I can get accommodation for every night that has been canceled for up to 30 days in a year, and even more if they make an exception. But that might be a pretty high fee for some people, especially in the global south. I completely understand that. So I think there are different platforms. There's housecare.com, Home Exchange, Mind My House, Luxury House Sitting, and some of them start with like $20 a year. However, and I'm telling you from personal experience because I've been doing this for a long time and I've known about this platform for a long time, there is no platform out there like the one that we are using. There just isn't. So is it worth to pay that membership fee of $100 to $300 per year, or $250, depends on which country you are in and which currency you're using. Is it worth it? Totally. Like, let's face it, use it 2 nights a year, and you stay in a nice apartment somewhere in San Francisco, you're all getting your money back for the whole year. It depends on how often you use it. But again, I understand that it might be a high fee for some people, so there are more affordable platforms out there. That's something that I want to
Yeah. I see that my friend Jihad just joined. Jay, thank you for joining. Good to see you, bro. Hope it's not too cold in Chicago. Hey. Say hi to the family. But yeah, what other questions? Oh, what was the house sit with the best view, or a couple of house sits with the best view that you've had, Sibu?
Okay, well, I think the one next week is going to be pretty epic. I was thinking a really
Tell
nice
us about the location and some of the views.
Side. So I'm taking care of one cat, which is
Wow.
great. One cat, but I mean, I
You're
have
gonna
to
be gallivanting around the city.
I know. I mean,
Watch out, New York.
I still have to work, but you know, I'm gonna be working from a beautiful apartment. I'm gonna be there all on my own, and it is Thanksgiving. Like, I don't even want to imagine how much it would cost for me to stay in New York for 1 or 2 nights during this time of the year. So I'm really happy about that. But best views. So one of my first house sits was in Vienna. I just took a train down. It was like 20 euros. I was so happy, and I had this beautiful 3-bedroom apartment all to myself. I was just taking care of the one cat. And I had like beautiful views of the city, and I was really close to this like district that I'd been to Vienna before, but I wasn't familiar with that district. So I was like, beautiful views every day. I was just writing my master's thesis, so I was just like chilling, and I loved it. But one of the views, one that I did in San Francisco, I think around March, I was staying by the Marina Bay, which is a very, very, very fancy, expensive part of town. Just to get an idea, I went on Airbnb to see how much it would cost to rent a similar sized apartment, like a 1-bedroom apartment, like the one I was staying in, and it was like $700 a night. And I was like, okay, because, so that was that. But it's not just about views. The Santa Fe one I stayed with in Bend, that was amazing. But it's also like places. So one I stayed at in Yosemite, the owners were so nice. And they had a jacuzzi, so I was just chilling by the jacuzzi every day, and I was working from the jacuzzi, just pulling in my laptop and crossing my fingers and hoping I wasn't going to drop the freaking laptop in the jacuzzi because I'm so clumsy. I didn't. But yeah, no, it's just, I think I'm gonna have to be honest with you. I've had beautiful house sits, but the owners have been a little bit too picky or like too demanding, and I'm
Picky in what sense? Expound on that. Yeah, give us a few examples so that people get a good sense.
They spoil their pets, and they want me to spoil their pets the same way they do, and I think that's crossing the line a bit. I mean, they're not. I love animals, but I'm never gonna be able to treat your pet the same way you do. And I think a lot. I wouldn't say a lot, but I think the best house sits I've had are the ones where the owners are just like super chill and relaxed, and most importantly, I feel like they can trust me, because if you're going to be treating me like a child, like I'm not going to feel comfortable with that. And that's happened to me like once or twice. I didn't really like that a lot. But again, all of this comes with the more I house sit, the more I start like filtering and knowing better what to expect from an owner. Obviously. There are other house sits where, for example, you might have to give the pets medication because they're elderly or they have some kind of condition. I don't feel comfortable doing that because I've never had to deal with those kind of animals before. And so I would much rather not do those kind of house sits. But if that's something you feel comfortable doing because you have experience with that, go ahead. And it's not just cats and dogs. I've seen ones with parrots and lizards and horses and pigs. If you want to go to a farm in the middle of nowhere and just connect for 2 weeks, go for it. Like, there's plenty of options, really.
You know, Sibu, it's funny you mentioned medications, and I think I have a specialty. I'm like starting to develop a specialty as a house sitter of like geriatric care. I'm turning into a kind of an expert in looking after older pets.
Look at that. Fancy. You're like a vet now.
Farhan's gonna get a subspecialty. Yes, I'm a geriatric house sitter, y'all. If you have
totally
old,
right, that. Definitely.
Medicare aged pets, send them. You should consider me. I have a specialty that's, you know, I'm certified by the American Pet Geriatric Society.
I mean, if it works, you can write it down. Again, you feel comfortable with it, then go ahead, write it and do it, you know. If it's something that have you ever done that before? Taking care of older pets?
Yeah, that's why I'm saying.
No, I meant before.
Oh, before. No.
No, but there you
well,
go.
I mean, our family cat's like 14. So, but he doesn't act like a geriatric cat. Zev is like, he's gonna live, I hope, a very long life. But yeah, no, I did not have. It just so happened that like these house sits were attracting me, and I was open to them, and I was like, you know, yeah, and I learned. You learn on the job, you know, and you know, so far, I know some people might have anxiety about, oh my God, I don't want to let this other person down, right? Taking care of their family, but everybody has been so available and accessible that like, if you have any questions, you just text them and they respond right away. And if you don't know something, just, you know, if you've read the instructions well and like some things are not clear, ask. And they've been very good so far, because ultimately it's their family you're looking after, you know. And if you have a question, that shows that you give a shit. And B, they care about their family, so they're going to be responsive, right?
Another thing that this platform provides, there's this thing called a welcome guide, which you can ask every house owner for. And the welcome guide has like 7 different sections, and it has writing prompts. And so you can they can fill out those prompts, and it will answer every single question that you might have. So the platform has already thought everything out for you. So any question that you might have, they've already prepared it in the welcome guide. So you can actually go ahead and talk to the owners and say, hey, can you fill out the welcome guide for me? And they should do it, you know, or they just print it. And a lot of the times they fill out the welcome guide and they have it printed out for me, so I can have a digital copy as well as an actual hard copy to keep with me in case I need to look anything up. And That's great, but yeah, it's all about asking questions, and most importantly, there is insurance. Like, obviously, it's scary going into someone else's house and not even knowing if, like, you can take care of it or if something happens. We're insured to up to $1 million, so I think unless you burn the place down, you know what I mean, which hopefully you won't. There's also 24/7 pet care provided. There's like an actual chat, and you can, if your the pet you're taking care of starts vomiting or there's something going on, you can go on the chat in the platform and say, hey, this is happening, what should I do? So all the tools are there. I think it's all about just going out of your comfort zone and saying, you know what, hey, let's try this out. What's the worst that can happen? I don't like it, and
Yeah, I'm looking at the time, Sibu, and we're running up against. Do we want to maybe see if anybody from the audience has any questions, and then we can just close it out from there if nobody has questions?
Yeah. Well, if somebody types something up in the meantime, is there anything you would like to add, or encourage people, like your closing line?
Yeah, the closing line, I would say, is, we talked about this post-COVID world and how the world's changing, and each of us has an opportunity to play our part to make this world a more beautiful place by living our best life, right? And for me, Trusted House Sitters has become a go-to and allowed me to explore and discover things that I otherwise would not have been able to experience as fast or in the manner that I currently am. And it's been possible because I allowed myself to get out of my comfort zone, right? Become uncomfortable, do something that I would never have imagined being possible, but just diving in and having faith that it will work out, right? And you watching this, having never experienced anything like this, Sibu and I are proof that, getting out of your comfort zone pays off. So if you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out to me. I'm going to post a link to, this Trusted House Sitters. I think Sibu has one as well. Feel free to use either of those links. And yeah, love and light.
Thank you so much for tuning into this episode of the Get Out of Your Comfort Zone series. I hope it resonated with you. If you would like to further connect with Sibu on Instagram, her handle is global that's @_heart. Again, that's global @_heart. If you would like to connect with me on social media, my Instagram handle is Farheezy. That is spelled FARHEEEEEZY. That is correct, 4 E's. Until the next episode, I wish you love and light. Thank you.